One day before the Pfizer vaccine is expected to get emergency use authorization from the Food and Drug Administration, the biotechnology company that says it could easily help with production by making 1 billion of the vaccine doses per month. 1 billion per month? You got to hear our Fox Business exclusive with the CEO of publicly traded Dyadic International. And what if Pfizer and Moderna could produce billions of their COVID-19 doses of vaccines in just 1 month? We're talking to the CEO of the publicly traded company that says he's got the technology to do just that. The question on the minds of millions of Americans: did the Trump administration order too few doses of the COVID-19 vaccine? The Trump team today is disputing a New York Times report that the president turned down an offer to purchase more vaccine doses back in the summer. Now, as the administration realizes it wants and needs more, Pfizer says the U.S., because it passed early, will have to go to the back of the line until late June. But could our next guest have solved this problem for both the U.S. and Pfizer? Dyadic International is a biotech company that helps pharma companies mass produce vaccines. And he says that he has the technology to help cure the world of COVID much faster. Dyadic International CEO Mark Emelfarb is joining us in a Fox Business exclusive. Welcome back, Mark. 1 billion doses per month, that is a bold promise. Describe the technology you say you have that you can put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. It's great to be here again. Over the past 2.5 decades, we developed a platform technology called the C1 technology that allows pharmaceutical and biotech companies potentially manufacture vaccines in billions of doses per month, not per year, at a lower cost. And the reason for that is we developed this technology over 2.5 decades to make industrial products. And over the last 5 years, we've been leveraging it, adopting it, and modifying it to be used to make vaccines and antibodies. And we've demonstrated time and time again in the European Union's Zoonotic Anticipation Preparative Initiative called ZAPI, which is exactly zoonosis diseases in humans, that we actually made 300 times more product, antigen, vaccine candidates in our technology than baculovirus insect cells, which are being used by companies like Novavax. So, I mean, we're putting our money where our mouth is because we spent 2.5 decades, and between us and BASF and Shell and DuPont and others, there's been hundreds of millions of dollars spent to get this technology to be prime time ready to go.
Well, yeah, and so specifically, if you could explain to the average layman or the average Claman sitting here, exactly how does it work? I remember in the past we talked about it partially uses the same technology used to stonewash denim, but, that's simplifying it, certainly. How do you replicate by the massive amounts that are really needed right now? And I'm glad to hear Novavax is calling on you guys at least.
Well, they're not calling on us. They actually should have called on us because our technology has demonstrated hyperproductivity versus the cell line. So really the efficiency is in the cell line, which is in the center of the universe of making a vaccine and or an antibody, because we also have a shortage of antibodies coming as well as treatments. And so what happens is you take a gene sequence that encodes for or describes the way that the cell will make the protein or the antigen in the case of a vaccine, or the monoclonal antibody in case of an antibody or antibody cocktail. And so we've developed over years through serendipity, recombinant engineering, synthetic biology, a cell line that produces massive amounts of low-cost proteins, and we don't have issues with the raw materials that go into producing these. And these are made in standard microbial fermenters that are available all over the planet. So it's not just what we can make in one tank. This can be tech transferred very rapidly and very easily all over the world.
The obvious question, Mark, is why isn't Pfizer, why isn't Moderna calling you guys, or AstraZeneca, J&J, or maybe they are? I mean, I would be on the phone in 2 seconds. What's going on here?
Well, we're working with the Israeli government, as you remember from the last conversation we had back in February, the Israeli Institute of Biological Research. We're working with top scientists, coronavirus, SARS, MERS scientists. We've actually programmed this technology to make what we think is a potentially a safer and as or more effective vaccine, which is a receptor binding domain, which is part of that. So why Pfizer, why Moderna? They use a different technology, which is not as efficient. They're using mRNA technologies. We're doing protein vaccines, which is being used by Sanofi and Novavax. So a protein vaccine in the past is something like you would get in a flu shot. It's not as risky, we believe. We think it's safer, and we think it creates more of an antigenic effect. So potentially it could be even more powerful or more potent. So making a recombinant protein vaccine in a hyperproductive cell solves the answers of lack of mass production.
I got so many questions, but we've got to run. Let me just end on this. President-elect Joe Biden is promising 100 million vaccinations in his first 100 days in office. Is that doable? And I'll double it. How long do you think it'll take to vaccinate the entire United States?
Well, I think it is doable. How long it takes to vaccinate the whole United States depends on whether companies like Pfizer and others can overcome some of the challenges of manufacturing that they wouldn't have potentially had using a technology such as ours. But we look at it as a global problem, and if we don't solve it globally, we can't travel on an international level. And we think it's a global problem. 16 billion or maybe 32 billion doses are going to be needed, and we think we can be a big help in solving that problem, not only in volume, but in cost, because we can do it faster, quicker, and cheaper on a global basis.
Well, I'm going with the Israelis. I think that they're smart to come to you guys, and we'll be watching all of it. Your stock is spiking 23% right now. Mark Emelfarb, keep us posted on the good work you're doing at Dyadic. Thank you so much.